scientifically analyzed response, but I'm just hazarding some of the possible explanations as to why people are not coming to participate. But once we get to the technical driven reasons, we shall communicate to you. The machine is failing to work. Was it a deliberate ploy or indeed a technical glitch, and which technical glitch? First of all, it was at the insistence of the president himself that we introduce mandatory use of the biometric voter verification technology. I recall he raised it into the cabinet, put in place a cabinet subcommittee which I chaired. We had the discussions. We even brought samples of the cabinet and did a test run, and we were functioning. Then went into procurement, all those under his guidance, because you remember he had complained that in the last elections he was cheated in Kampala and surrounding areas. That was his concern, that we should tighten the voter verification and use technology and ensure that one person, one vote principle is upheld. That was the intention. Therefore, it couldn't be the same president or the same government that can turn around in the night and say don't use. What we wanted was to use those machines. Like I have said, I haven't had a physical discussion with the technical people from the Electoral Commission and the other departments of government to understand what technical problem exactly happened. Like what was on phone that morning, but I am yet to be briefed because I've just come from a country just the other day. But I just want to dispel that assumption that the government may have reneged from its own decision of using the biometric voter verification, because we don't believe in cheating as NRM. We don't believe in rigging. We believe in mobilizing voters, and then we protect that vote. We protect that vote. Otherwise, if that were the case, couldn't have even started the discussion of using the technology. And why would you invest those billions of money and then again you run away from the technology? That makes sense. It doesn't. Because nobody had forced us to procure those kits, and we are now using them. So the reason why we are introducing technology is to ensure that we observe the one person, one vote principle. But the technocrats will tell us what could have happened. Now Ronald from NTV, you asked Uganda. Let me first answer in English. I will also put a Uganda version after. Regarding how many people have been arrested, I don't have the statistics yet. I will yet sit with police and security agencies to establish how many have been arrested. And I didn't make reference to any statistics, but I said those who are involving themselves in criminal activities, especially with a view of destabilizing our communities after elections, are being apprehended. Now, you say people are being arrested at night for idle and disorderly. Maybe it's part of the patrols that may be happening, but we again appeal to the police and arresting officers that when you arrest somebody, you should identify yourself and do the arrest within the confines of the law. And the person arrested should be taken to a gazetted detention center and handled in accordance with the law. We do not condone as government just arrests which are outside the provisions of the law. But I don't have details about those individuals who are being netted in the night swoops. But I hope if they are arrested, they are taken to police, and if there are charges that are preferred against them, then the process takes its due course. But the caution we just give is that let's remain law-abiding, let's remain peaceful. If you are going about your work, your daily work, and you are not engaging in criminal activities, whether you belong to position or the ruling party, there should be no problem at all. You are here attending a press conference. Are you worried that anybody will come and arrest you after this press briefing? No, because you are not engaging in any criminal activity. And the arrests, if any, do not necessarily follow your political persuasion. Even if you are NRM and you engage in criminal activities, police may arrest you. Or if you are opposition. So crime, most often, is not based on your political beliefs, but on your actions if you engage in crime. But the police and security agencies should not just arrest people without reasons. You should arrest somebody when there is a genuine reason as to why that person is being arrested. Arrest him or her lawfully, and if he is to be detained, then it should be in the gazetted detention centers. Its course. The NRM government is the one disorganizing Ugandans through rigging, and you try to make reference to my participation in the fake internal elections of the party. Well, I don't know what the evidence you have that NRM rigs. Yeah, there may have been challenges regarding how NRM organized its internal elections, the structured elections, as well as for some of us who participated and raised the concerns with a view of helping the internal systems to have reforms on how elections are held. But by and large, I think it is wrong for you to say in the country Uganda, it is NRM that is rigging elections. You don't have evidence to that effect. You cannot say, for instance, when you look at the parliament, MPs who have been elected, majority are NRM. I don't hope you are insinuating that we who have won have done so through rigging. We have been voted. Yes, the system may have imperfections. That's why the Constitution talks of free and fair. Doesn't say free and excellent. Those are different words. Because we are holding elections in our own environment, there may be imperfections here and there, like anywhere in the world. But it's not true that NRM depends on rigging. NRM is popular. It's popular in the country because it has a record. There are achievements which have been registered by NRM as a party, NRM as a government, upon which Ugandans make a decision to vote for NRM. Vote for NRM. find NRM is the only party that can register support across the country. Whether you speak of the north, the west, the east, the central, NRM is dominant because of its presence in Uganda for the last 40 years. Unless you choose to be blind yourself, you can't say, for instance, that the NUP in Uganda has a stronger presence than NRM. Unless if you understand it yourself, you can't say. You can't say Chaguranyi is appreciated by Ugandans to be an alternative to the NRM government today. You cannot. And that's why we are challenging him. If he thinks he garnered majority of the votes, let him go to court and bring the evidence. He could not raise candidates in all the constituencies. Where he voted from, he had no agents. How do you say you are strong when you can't raise candidates? How? The NRM was stopping from raising candidates. He raised the candidates in some constituencies and they have won. Why were they not to rig it? Kampala here, the Honorable Engineer by the West who was my colleague in Parliament, as overwhelming the one in Kampala. Why was he not? Why did we allow him to defeat an NRM candidate? Why our opposition MPs won in some constituencies? Because if NRM had wanted to use the rigging machinery, they would be rigged out. In my district, I said on TV the other day, the Honorable Chaguranyi never stepped in the Kanungu, but he got some votes. Even when he didn't have agents, those votes were counted and were registered on the declaration forms. They are there. We got the Election Commission. We would have chosen to say, put the 000 for him, but we believe in democracy. If somebody has cast his vote for Chaguranyi, write it like that. No candidate got the 0 in the Kanungu, for instance. And many of those candidates never had agents at all. But whatever was found in the ballot box was read, was counted, and was recorded as a vote belonging to that person. So it is not true that NRM thinks. NRM believes in implementing its mandate, its manifesto, then accounts to Ugandans, and then seeks for renewal of mandate, which Ugandans have done. Look to northern Uganda. There was a time when President Museveni would score less than 20% in northern Uganda, and the votes he would get is what would be recorded. The last election, 2021, NRM performed poorly in Uganda, and we recorded it as such. We had to work on it to improve the votes, and now there has been improvement. So are you saying NRM has registered improvement in Uganda because of rigging? Would that be your view? You live here in Uganda? No. People appreciate, in my own view, the excitement which was caused by NUP would not be sustained. Would not be Chaguranyi. I don't want to criticize him. He has his own ways of doing work. Would you have taken him as a serious politician in the last 5 years? He spends more time outside in Jamaica in entertainment rather than organizing Uganda. Yes. When was he Incase to mobilize the Wachika? Other than just recently when he came for campaign. Why would the Wachika turn to him when they are not mobilizing them? Politics is serious business. It's not merely singing. I know his profession is a music and a drama. You need more than that to master the art of persuading Ugandans to take you very seriously. So, Mr. Marangira, it is not true that the NRM thrives on rigging. It does not. It thrives on what has done for Ugandans, which is theirs. You also raise the issue of government delaying, maybe harassing political prisoners. I don't know what the term political prisoners means. Does it mean a politician being arrested, then you become a political prisoner? Then what happens if you are a politician and you commit a crime and you are arrested? Are you a political prisoner? Because a political prisoner, the connotation would be you have been arrested because of your political beliefs. That is different from being a political actor, but then you are involved in a criminal activity and you are arrested. Because the two cases you have cited of Dr. Kiza Mesiki and the Honorable Mwanga Kivundi, they are and the Mufumiro. Yes, that's group of and others, there are specific charges which have been brought against them. And I don't think their political beliefs is one of the charges. You see, that doesn't mean because you are a political leader, unless if you want to argue that once you are a political leader, then you are immune from prosecution in the case you break the law. That would be a weird way of reasoning. I am a minister, government minister. If they slap you, you say because you are a government minister, it's okay, I should slap this young girl. That's a crime. I should be brought before the law. And you can't say now I'm a political prisoner because I am a direct politician, that I have slapped somebody and you call me a political prisoner. You should distinguish my politics and the action for which I have been arrested. Now, like Dr. Kiza Mesiki, there are specific charges that have been preferred against him. It is up to him and his legal team to urge them out in the court. And if he's innocent, court will find him so. If the state believes it has strong evidence, then they should produce it. So we are saying we need a speedy trial because the prosecution alleges they have grounds, they have evidence that he was involved in subversive action. We don't know. You are not the prosecution. They have the information. So we are waiting for the court to play out. If you have the evidence, play. If you are innocent as a refugee, now you so urge, then the court will decide. That's how the system works. Similarly, Honorable Mwanga Kivundi, there are lots of things being talked about what happened in Butambara. You and I probably were not there. We shall rely on the investigating teams what exactly happened, and then this will play out the court. I think where I should give credit is that these political leaders are arrested and taken to court and not killed or not taken to places where they cannot be identified. As long as the matter has gone to court, court you are able to say rule of law. What does rule of law mean? That if you suspect that I have committed a crime, then take me to court. Then the court will absolve me or will convict me. And the court is independent. Under the law, the president does not even have powers to order court to absolve you of a case. Maybe if you are convicted, you can use the prerogative of mercy, but you cannot say, drop this charge, or this one is free. That is beyond him. So let the courts do their work. As regarding the speed of speedy trial, who dictates the speedy trial? Is it the president? No. Well, there may be weaknesses in the system regarding investigations and the case backlog, how courts function, but all of us pray for an expeditious process that once somebody is taken to court, then the process should be fast. Like in the case of Kiza Mesiki, the case began in the military court. decision by the Supreme Court regarding the court martial. And his case had to leave the military court and go to civilian court. Now the legal team representing him has been having a lot of arguments in court regarding the judge, where Elizabeth is appearing, to choose himself. There are those procedural arguments we have not been following, and the case is not taking off. So would you blame President Museveni that they are not giving a verdict? Or are you saying it is us telling the judge not to hear the case? Just the procedural arguments which they are having, and like I said earlier on, all of us are praying for a speedy and fair trial, so that the prosecution can table the evidence that they have, and then Dr. Vestige's lawyers can also argue, and then we hope the judicial officers will determine the case and then that's how it works. So, are they political prisoners? In my view, no. Is Mwanga Chivumbi a political prisoner? No. It is a case involving the death of those people. Unless we are saying the deaths are manufactured, probably died. And if it's innocent, then the court will make that determination, not us. You also made reference to Bobi Chagulanyi, the allegation that she made. I also watched on social media her narration, which, like I said, I have not gotten any briefing regarding those who were physically there at her home, but there seems, from my judgment, there is a sense of exaggeration in what she says. When she says I was hit on the ball and injured, using my naked eye examination as a doctor, I don't see the injuries. I think there is a lot of politics just playing around, and but I condemn any improper handling of anybody, actually women. Even if the security officers will search for anything, there would be no need to improperly handle Bobi Chagulanyi or any other Ugandan. You can still do the search lawfully without harming anybody. But her narration seems to be raised with a lot of politics and exaggeration. That's my own analysis from what I saw. But we shall find out. We shall find out internally whether indeed there was an element of abuse, because being an opposition political leader is not a crime. It's not a crime. And being a spouse of a political leader is also not a crime. So those kind of implications are not called for. They are not called for. But we shall find out to see whether there was any abuse at her home, because our security forces are guided by the code of conduct, and they are not supposed to cross the line once they are doing their work. They should do their work within ethical and professional parameters, not to infringe on the rights of any Ugandan. Whether that Ugandan believes in NRM or not, it's not a crime to belong to the opposition, and therefore nobody should be harassed simply because he does not believe in NRM. As long as he is law-abiding, there should be no problem at all. She said they wanted to kill her child. I didn't hear that. But I thought she said she had hidden her children somewhere. But you are introducing another element. She made an allegation that they wanted to kill her child. That I had not heard. I hope you are not adding your mouth to her words. What I did here has said about killing a child.
Value addition.
Yes?
Communication value addition.
In addition, yes. But why would an innocent child be harassed? Because being a child of a politician is not a crime. Even if I have children, why would my children be harassed by anybody simply because I am active in politics? So that would be wrong. That would be wrong. And nobody should be harassed. Whether the politician himself or herself or the children, as long as they are law abiding. But even when they break the law, then if they are to be arrested, they should be arrested in a manner that conforms to the provisions of the law. I think we have exhausted the questions.
Okay, thank you so much, Minister. We are going to Uganda, but there was a comment made by the US Senator. US Senate,
yes. About the concluded elections that was a hollow exercise.
You repeat it. What did he say?
Yeah, the US Senator, who happens to be also the chairman of that committee, Jim, said that Uganda's concluded election was a hollow exercise done to legitimize President Museveni, seventh term in office. And he also went ahead to say in his statement that just like Tanzania, Uganda's elections was full of rigging and intimidating voters, using state resources. That is the country. Jim, what is your comment?
I don't know in what capacity he was speaking, whether as an observer or somebody who was physically here in Uganda to witness what happened, or he's just using the comfort of air condition in Washington to just merely speak. You know, speaking is easy. I can also stand here and speak about the US. But for us, we're on the ground. And when we hold the elections in Uganda, we don't hold them to satisfy Jim or any other foreign power. We hold them to satisfy ourselves as Ugandans. The question is, have Ugandans made a decision on who to lead them? And I don't think Jim or whoever he is has the necessary competence to make that assessment whether Ugandans have made a decision or not. And Uganda is a sovereign country. We don't need his endorsement. What is important is that an environment was created to enable Ugandans cast their vote, and they did. And even them in their country, they have imperfections when they hold elections. But we are less bothered because that is their system. That is their system. That is their country. So what invites him to get all that bother when Uganda is our country, not his country. Not his country. And for him to say the horror exercise, rigging, what evidence does he have? He can cross-check the law and put a petition in the court here in Uganda so that he can satisfy himself. This business of wanting to drive what happens in other countries is not acceptable. Is not acceptable. Uganda is for Ugandans, not for other people. In Chiga, we used to have a saying that when your millet garden is ready for harvesting, we say, why don't you harvest your own garden? And you leave me harvest my own garden. So, the gentleman is not Uganda's keeper. No. And we're not holding elections to make him happy. That is not the intention. Whether President Museveni has got a 7th term or not, it is our decision as Ugandans. If for him, he wants to vote out his leader, he in America, that's his business. But for if Ugandans want to vote a president they love, that is our business. He is not going to choose for us who governs us. If the people in Chinchizi East are satisfied with me as an MP and they left me, what will he do? He can hang himself because ultimately what matters, what do the people want? And in this case, Ugandans have taken a decision on their leaders. In the constituencies where they want an opposition leader, like an MOP, they have elected him or her. Where they want an NRM leader, they have done so. In Kampala here, they have removed an opposition mayor, replaced him with an opposition mayor. And we are not bothered by that. That decision, the choice of the people. We are not going to force them as NRM to say vote an NRM mayor. It is the people to make that decision. Because the constitution does not allow government to appoint a mayor. It is the people. So why would we be bothered that Ugandans have they complained to him? Which Ugandan has complained to him in his committee in America that they have not voted well. So really, I don't want to give meaning things which don't carry that meaning a lot. But we are a sovereign country. We know what we are doing, and Ugandans have made a decision. Ugandans are happy with NRM. They have voted for the president, and let's give him time to implement the manifesto which he has marketed in the country, upon which he has been elected, and NRM, and then we demand accountability from the leaders. We have made pledges and promises through the manifesto. Give us time now to implement, and then we demand accountability. But we call upon all Ugandans to rally behind national development, because what we all want is a stable Uganda, a Uganda which is making progress, where all of us are happy. We may have different political persuasions, this was the multi-party dispensation, but we call for tolerance, we call for reconciliation, we call for constructive engagement, so that all of us from our different spaces, we can make a contribution towards building Uganda, which is our only home. I thank you very much. Let me just summarize.
Uganda.